The title of your book is When the Shit Isn't Funny Anymore.
Yes.
Tell us how you came up with that title.
Well, I came up with it because I was married to a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
So the irony of, divorce is, it's not a thing that's exciting. So it's like, okay, this is real life now. My bubble was busted.
Hello, everyone. It's Shin here, and I'm excited to tell you about our incredible guest today. She has got many, many, many accolades, but I just want you guys to know she is an incredible speaker. She is an author, motivational speaker, an actress. She was an actress, still does actress. Once you're an actress, you're always an actress. She is a movie producer, and the most important thing I want you guys to know is that she has now dived into the financial service industry and has her own business. And so without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our show today, the one and only Mechelle McCain. Hey, Mechelle, how are you?
Hey, John, I'm good. How are you?
I am absolutely thrilled you're here today with us and to share a wealth of your knowledge that you've got.
Same here. I've been waiting for this. I've been wanting to talk to you.
Oh, is that right?
Yes,
all right. Well, so I'm really curious. I mean, I know your background, I know about you, but I want the audience to know because I've heard your story, yes. And there are so many people that I think would be so inspired to know about your personal life, your personal story, your journey leading up to where we are today. And I think that your story could be an absolute blockbuster movie hit. I know that's your background too. You've been in, you produce shows, you're an actress yourself, and here you are that has such a compelling, heartfelt story. And now here you are inspiring people all over the world. So tell us just a quick, a little bit about your background.
Okay. So I've been in the entertainment industry for 21 years. That's why I moved to LA. Mm-hmm. And along the way, I met my ex-husband, and he was also in entertainment. So I got a front seat outlook of entertainment. I was like kind of head in first. And then, being married, I helped with the finances. I would do the checks and how do we invest our money? And just, I was very interested in it. And CPAs, they're not really into the financial literacy part of it. They're just like, this is what I'm doing. And, you're like, okay, I'm not certified in it, so it's kind of hard. And they're not into teaching you. So after my divorce, I'm like, okay, hey, I have this money coming in. How am I going to build wealth? And then I want to also teach my daughters. So that's when I was introduced to the business, and I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to figure it out. Because in America, you need to understand money because money makes the world go around. Mm-hmm. So that was very intriguing to me because I've always been interested, like, how do you do investments? How do you choose investments? And so for me learning, it taught me, okay, these are some of the things that you should do. These are the things, because, we have different people on Instagram, they're telling you, you should do this, you should do that, but they don't tell you how to do it. Mm-hmm. And what I really loved about our business is they teach you how to do it. And also they promote you teaching other people.
That's right.
It's a big thing about teaching other people financial literacy, not like, just give me your money and let me do my thing with it. It's like, no, I want you to understand what I'm doing. And I really thought that was very interesting and very exciting to learn because a lot of people do want to learn what's going on. What are you doing? Because if something is going on, we don't want to Bernie Madoff type of thing because you just don't know. But with you learning and knowing what's really going on, you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And then you also grow. The more you learn, the more you grow.
That's right. That's what they say. And the more you learn, the more you earn, right?
Yes.
So you write this book,
yes.
Okay? And the book is available for people to get on your website, which we'll talk about later. Yes. But now the title of your book is When the Shit Isn't Funny Anymore.
Yes.
Tell us how you came up with that title.
Well, I came up with it because I was married to a comedian. Mm-hmm. So the irony of, divorce is, it's not a thing that's exciting. So it's like, okay, this is real life now. My bubble was busted. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, you have to really deal with real life situations and you have to deal with them on your own as a single mother.
Right.
So now divorce, after that, it's not funny anymore.
Mm-hmm. So now in your book, tell us a little bit about the book. You know,
it's a self-help book.
Okay.
You know, it's not a tell-all. It's a self-help to just kind of guide you and support you through the divorce process. A lot of people go through divorce in America, you know, or worldwide.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere to turn on how do I get through this? What do I do? You know, it's always marriage counseling and how to get married and what you need to do. But I wanted something that was encouraging and inspiring because it's not the end of the world. And sometimes a divorce can feel like a death. So I wanted to bring something that would help people get through that time, you know. And just sometimes in life when you have a guideline or you have something to get you to the other side or just, you know, some steps to follow, it just makes things a lot easier. So I thought that was very important because I know for me, if I would have had that, it would have made it a little bit easier. But I did have great friends that, you know, would tell me little nuggets, but nobody really can just sit you down and say, okay, first do this, second do that. And in my book, I give you steps on what you should do. And I think it really will help a lot of people, women or men.
So tell me, what do you think right now? Unfortunately, the world we live in, especially during COVID, there were so many people who were going to get married that called off their weddings. There were people that suddenly realized that during this isolation, they're stuck in their home or their apartment or whatever, and they're starting to realize that, okay, maybe this person isn't supposed to be there for the rest of my life with me. You know, you start to find out about people when you start to live with them, right? Yeah. I know just from having roommates through college and having a dorm roommate or whatever. So when people go through this stage and they realize that, okay, maybe this isn't, the shit ain't funny anymore. What are 3 things that you could probably advise someone who might be going through this right now and wondering, where do I go? They're going through the divorce proceedings or they just got divorced and like you said, it just isn't funny anymore.
Yes.
What do I do? What advice would you tell them?
The very first thing is I think they need to have a real look at what this situation really is. So the thing is, you know, you have to take responsibility for your part and what you did. And it doesn't mean it has to be negative. You know, you can't think of it like that. You have to think of it is what I need to learn out of this and, you know, this situation. And then what am I going to do next? Like really sit with yourself and figure out where do I want to go from this? You can't look at it as what happened to me is what happens for me. So maybe this is the end of a season, you know? So you have to really also do some work, I think, internal work on yourself. You know, what are some things that I can do to make me a better person? And then I don't know where after this, if they want to get married again or they move into the next partner, it's like you do have to do work on yourself to be a better person. So now you can attract what you maybe really want or just get the things that you want out of life. Because I don't know if it's, you know, if it depends on if it was a change for them, like, oh, they said, I don't want to do this anymore, or the other person said it. You have to really just determine where you are in life. That's the number one thing. And then where you want to go. Once you make those choices and those goals, then it can guide you to the future.
What got you to make that switch, to have that paradigm to go, okay, this is where I'm at, and these are some of the changes I need to make? What were some of those things that happened for you that you realized, I got to make some changes here?
First thing, I looked at the bright side of it. You know, now I have an opportunity to do the things that I've always wanted to do. Because being married, I was raising kids, I had to be a wife, and I was a great wife. So now I'm like, I can do the things that I want to do for myself. And I said, I cannot let this be the end of my journey. I have so much more to do. I have so much strength. This also taught me the strength that I have inside. And then I had 2 little girls looking at me, watching everything I was doing. So I'm like, okay, I have to make an impact. I can't just stop here. And then also people would reach out to me through Instagram, like DMing me women, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so inspiring. You're so strong. And so I just had a talk with myself and I realized like, I need to, you know, empower other women to get through this. It's not the end. It's hurtful, but things happen in life and you do get hurt, but it's okay. It's not the end. You know, you can always take something that happened to you and make it work for you.
And so then you going through all this, how did you go into the financial business? I mean, how did you find that space?
So I had to do some financial things with the pension, our family pension. And so now I was getting this pension and I don't know the tax rules. I don't know the tax laws. So I had a friend and she told me that, you know, she does financial things. So I was like, well, let me ask her this question. And she said, let me find out. Let me get back to you. and get some information. And she said, if you are interested in financial literacy, I work with a company and that's what we teach. And then from there, it just opened the floodgates. She just started telling me everything that she can do. And then she introduced me to you. And it just opened up so many doors. I'm learning so much every day. And, it's just inspiring to know this, because you always see those people who are like on Wall Street, or that person's a financial investor. And now to be that, it really, to offer that to people is really inspiring, and it really helps. Because, in life, you always want to give back. You always want to help people. It makes us all feel good. So it just really is exciting. And I'm just happy to be helping people and not feeling hurt or being, stuck.
Let me ask you a question. What was one of the hardest things that you dealt with when you were younger? Like as a child in your junior high, elementary school, what was one of the hardest things that you had to deal with?
Probably my parents not being together. Because my dad was very prevalent in my life, and my mom was too. But it was very, I think, just that pressure of dealing with them not being together. And, you have to hear what your mom says and what your dad says. And it's just heavy for a child. It's like almost too much to bear. I think that was probably the hardest thing. And so, also in that time when I was like in the 90s, the late 90s, we were very independent. So I remember just wanting to do it my way. Like, and I had it all planned out of how it should be done. It's like, with your parents, you're like, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that. And then I was really excited about doing it my way and not giving up.
And what is your way?
You create the life you want. I will say my parents did instill confidence in me. So I feel like you can do anything you want to do. A lot of people tell you, oh, you can't do that. You're going to move to LA and be an actor. You can't do that. How are you going to figure that out? And I know for me, that confidence that they instilled in me, I know I can do anything. And I've taught my daughters the same thing. And so like I have a daughter in Paris going to college. And so I can tell that they have that confidence as well. You don't let anything stop you. It's like whatever you put your mind to, you can accomplish it. Yes.
It's great. There's a question there I want to ask you is, would you be willing to share with us what is that thing or things that your folks did to instill that confidence in you? Because today it's interesting, that old school way, which is go to college and get a degree and all that. And so these newer, younger generation are now asking, why should I go to college? And some people will say, well, because you get more confidence.
Yeah.
But we see a lot of people graduating from college that don't have a whole lot of confidence even today.
Yes.
And so how do you build that confidence? What did your parents do? And then the second part is, did you do the same thing with your children, or is there something different that you did?
So I would say both of my parents were entrepreneurs. So number one, they weren't just, 9-to-5ers. My mom sometimes would have a job. She was in communication. So she would have cool jobs, working at the radio station, the newspaper, as an advertisement, in advertisement. So just seeing her, like she would come pick me up in a limo because the radio station was doing a promotion. And she'll say, I'm going to come pick you up in a limo. We're going to go drive through the club. We're not going in because I was too young, but just still to see that, to see a life that you can attain to get. It's not, we weren't just stuck in like, okay, we stay in the same place. We've never moved. We stay in an apartment, and not to say there's anything wrong with that, but my mom always strived for more. It went from, we live here, but eventually I want to buy a house. And we did that. And then we got a bigger house. You know what I mean? And so to see her level up, I would say, it made me see that. My dad was into cars. So he would always have like a Corvette or something cool, and he would come pick me up from school and we would drive fast. And, it was just like my parents lived their life. It didn't stop like, oh, I have to be a person who just sit in the house and just cook dinner, and then we eat dinner, we go to bed. My dad would take me, like I know all my family members. Like any city you go to, I have a family member there. We always have family reunions. So I think also knowing where I came from and who my family was, that also put a lot of confidence in me. So it's like they also, all of my immediate family members always encouraged me. They always loved on me so much. So I never had to question like, being loved or what should I do? Or it's like I always had someone to go to for any situation in my life on both sides, on my dad and my mother's side. So I feel like, them also, I remember them setting boundaries about things. They would not take less than, and a lot of times some, parents will just accept whatever comes in life. And my parents weren't like that. They're a little bougie. And I mess with them now. I'm like, you both are bougie. I see the connection, how you all were together. They think highly of themselves.
It's great. Self-respect. Now, what about your children? Are you instilling? You're not picking up your kids in limos now, are you?
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
So what are you doing now with your children? Still confidence.
Yes. One of the main things I did was traveling with them, and I would take them to different countries like Spain, France. And I felt like, of course, Mexico and Jamaica, the Caribbean islands, but I knew how important it was for them to see other cultures and to open their mind and broaden their horizons. Because if you know that there's other things out there, it inspires you to dream. It inspires you to think like, oh my gosh, there's so much more to just my street or my block or my neighborhood. So that's one of the things. And then when they would have adversities, like in school, I would tell them, don't let anybody push you around. If you don't like something, stand up for yourself. Speak up. Now, you may not be right, or that other person, or like if it's a teacher, I think express yourself, but also get the response. Why is this happening? What's going on? Because a lot of times people, they sweep things under the rug. You know what I mean? They hear it, but they don't listen. So they're not aware. So you can't grow if you're not able to take criticism and also have confidence. Like, okay, you know what? I need to do this. Okay, go home and change, especially if it's something for the better. Right. And then you come back and people respect that. And then you also build confidence because now you're a better person than you were. So I feel like that also makes you have more confidence, because to know that you can change is very inspirational inside, because a lot of people can't, and they're stuck in, whatever situation or where they are in life. And we always want to grow. I think growth is very important.
How do you think someone can change? How do they become the best version of themselves?
First, you have to try, and you have to want to change. Once you want it, I feel like the universe will show you how to do it. You have to be in search of it. Anything you're in search of, it will come. You don't have to break down doors to get it. You just have to do the work. It's a lot of self-help books to teach you how to do that. You have to open your mind. And also you can get help, going to a therapist and really finding out who you are or what you need to do to grow or to change.
And so now you have this book.
Yes.
And you're now doing speaking. And do you do coaching as well?
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm open to help people and to guide them through the process. And even guide them through, some things in life where if they're going through something similar to what I went through, just to encourage them. We all need some encouragement. It's good.
And what do you do? Like if somebody said, okay, I want to go and look up Mechelle. I'm feeling the vibes. I love her. I'm just listening to this segment and I want to reach out to her. What is the process?
Well, they could go to my, of course, my page, or depending which social media they're on, and go to the link in my bio or contact me. Yes. And then we can start the process.
And then once that happens, what's the next step? What do you do? How do you guide them? How do you counsel them?
Well, first I need to find out what is going on. What do you need help with or want help with? And then we need to first identify what we need to work on. And then we go from there. And then if I can't help them, I'll put them in the right direction of someone who can.
Who would be your best candidate that you think would benefit from sitting down with you?
Maybe a woman who is starting she's in her career or her field of business, and she's like, I'm making money and I don't know what to do with it. Or she is trying to figure out, how do I make money? What do I need to do to get to this certain place I'm trying to build to?
A lot of people today aren't motivated. Right? They're collecting checks from the government, or they just feel like they have some money saved away and they just said, I need a little break. Sometimes when you take a break a little bit too long, it's hard to re-engage.
Yes.
Right? And trying to get people back on the saddle and to take action. What are some tips you can give someone to say, you got to get re-engaged? Like, what would you tell that person?
I would say first they need to do a self-assessment, like self-check themselves. And then probably the easiest thing is to surround themselves with people they want to be like. Because I think that'll be the first thing. If you have that energy of people who are doing things, it'll inspire you to make you feel like, you know what? Let me do this. Let me do that. Oh my gosh. Because you do need to be mesmerized sometimes in life to kind of bring you back or out of your slump or whatever it is that they're going through. That's why people watch movies, because we get to escape, we get to dream, we get to imagine, and it takes us to a place. Even if it's for 2 or 3 hours, it still feels better because it's like it's not our life, because life gets redundant. So you just need to find something that can inspire you to get to that place you're trying to, or just to get out of whatever your thing is.
You know, I've noticed that you said that a lot of people need to really do a self-evaluation. Yes. What are some things that I need to evaluate?
I think the first thing you need to look for is, what do I want out of life? Am I happy? And what I'm doing, is it making me happy? Because if you're unhappy, you're not going to be too good to people, whether it's your spouse, your children, friends. So I think you first need to self-assess, where am I in my life? Am I doing what makes me happy? Do I love me right now? And then if you have some things that you don't agree with or that, are not making you happy, now it's like, let's work on those things. Let's set in place some goals to get me to where I really want to go. Because a lot of people don't have goals. So that can make you, be in a place where it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to self-assess. Because I know for me, because I have goals, I have dreams, and I have things that I'm working on, I can always self-assess because I can judge, how much have you gotten done? I can look at my different list of, what did I say last year that I wanted to do? Have I done that? Oh, I have done it. I've done it all. Now where am I? Okay, you know what? Let's set some new goals. Let's do some new things. Let's switch some things up.
Do you write down all your goals? Like, do you literally write them down?
Yes.
And how often do you change it once you write them down?
It just depends on how I'm feeling. Because sometimes in life you might go through something and you say, you know what, I don't really want to do that anymore. Yeah. Or it's like, I feel like you get more information in life or over time and you realize, that's not something I want to do. Or you get a new goal and you're like, you know what, yeah, I wanted to do that, but now I want to do more than that. Let's add a little more to that goal. And let's do more than, because we've gotten through all this quicker than we imagined. So let's do some more. Let's put more, because what do they say? When you stop wanting to do things, you might as well die or just, lay down, it's over. So you always have to aspire for something and want to do more in life. For me, I've been very blessed to have a very supporting spouse. It's a lot of times I get a lot of the credit because I'm the one that's typically in the public eye, but people don't realize that what we have today as a family, my wife is a huge part of where we are today. I can't imagine what it would be like to start a business with 2 kids. That it's one thing to have 2 kids that are like, 25 and 30, but it's another thing to have 2 kids that are 3 and 5. Yes.
How did you do it? Like, how do you to start a business with 2 kids, schoolwork, picking them up from school, the laundry, the cooking, the shopping, the homework, running a company, making movies, learning financial literacy, going and getting your licenses? How do you balance your time and juggle all those things as a single mom? You have to balance. It takes, you really have to balance things, and you have to put everything into perspective of what's most important. And then with children, a lot of times we let children take over our life, and you have to put boundaries. You have to place boundaries, and you have to allot a certain amount of time for each thing that you're trying to do. So even with my children, I'm like, I have to do this. So from this time to this time, I'm not available. So don't bother me. It's like, I'm not, but I also contribute to their time too, what they need. It's like, okay, from this time to this time, let's talk about what you need, tell me your day,
I have that open line of communication, but then look, I have to do this from this time to this time. So please respect it, because when you want to go with your friends, I don't call you all day saying, hey, when are you coming home? Hey, what's this? I make it very clear of what I need to do. And like I said, I schedule my time properly. So depending on what I need to do, I schedule it. Because, every day you can't do all of those things. It's like setting tasks for each day. Like one day in the week, you wash. Then, and maybe you might, when you need to cook food for the kids, you might cook 3 meals in one day. It's like prioritize your time, and then you get done what you can get done. And if some things are going to fall by the wayside, or you can't give 100%, and that's okay. Try again tomorrow.
And so did you have anybody else ever help you, or did you pretty much do everything on your own?
Well, I did have my mom a little bit. And then I would, and then I would have sometimes babysitters here and there. Yes.
Okay.
So, but it was on me. Like because one thing I will say, it is a blessing to have a partner where you all can build a business together. It's like you do work together, because sometimes I do feel not having someone else to help me, it is hard. And I'm like, okay, trying to accomplish this. Sometimes you get worn out, or, you don't want to give up, but you do have those feelings of giving up. And then that's when I call my friend and I'm like, okay, what do I do? And what, yeah, you have to have a support system.
Every day, you've got so many things that you're juggling. The question I have is, what motivates you every day to roll out of bed and go and tackle another day? What's your why?
My daughters, they're watching me, and I know how much I inspire them. Like when they repeat to me things that I do or say, or I saw you doing this, and it made me realize this specific thing about life. And I say to myself, like, wow, they're really watching me. Like, they don't listen to you, but they watch you, And so just knowing the inspiration that I give to them, that's my biggest why. And then also, I just know the times that I've been hurt or I've been feeling down and out, and then someone comes and like pulls me up. I remember those times, and I remember how it made me feel. So also knowing that I need to empower women. We need that. Just a little encouragement, a little support goes a long way.
And I'm sure it wasn't easy for you to get to where you are today. I talk to people about being tenacious and being persistent and not giving up. And, we always say that success is not going to happen by doing something one time. Success is not based on what you do occasionally, but what you do consistently.
Yes.
So what are some secret ingredients you could share on what it takes to be more persistent?
I think number one, the goals thing. You have to have your goals. Like I have a whiteboard, and it says, what are your goals for the month? What are your goals for the week at the bottom? And then I have a list. So I think you have to always look at those things. Having them in your face, it makes you remember, like, oh, you know what, I need to do that. Oh, let me do this. And then even doing, just like I said, being around people who inspire you. I'm around a good amount of people who inspire me, I'm around Shin, So
well, thank you.
Yes. And then, motivating me and just inspiring me to keep going, and you can do this. And hearing stories of people who started, maybe at the bottom or just started from the beginning and building their way up. That keeps me going, and it keeps me realizing, like, just keep on going and you will eventually get there. It's not going to happen overnight, and you don't respect it or appreciate it if it's given to you too quickly. What you have to work for, you appreciate it because you remember the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears you put into it.
Yeah, no question about that. That's right. Who inspires you?
I don't know if one particular person inspires me. It's a lot of different things. I think it's more so the different things from different people that inspire me. Because it's special things about everyone, not just one person. Because even it's things about my children that inspire me, and they're younger than me. You know what I mean? So I would have to say it's a lot of different things from different people that inspire me.
And so now, what's your goal? What's your goal for this year?
for this year, I want to build up my financial literacy business. I want to help people reach their goals financially. That's like one of my biggest. I want to make a few movies this year because I've also learned to not put too many things on my plate.
Right.
Because you get stressed out. You can't do everything.
Yeah, we all need to learn how to say no.
Yes.
It's just we're such a yes society now that we do try to tackle so many things simultaneously that you get overwhelmed and then you get stressed out and it no longer becomes fun anymore.
Exactly.
So you're going to build up your financial practice this year.
Yes.
You got your coaching business going on. What would you say to somebody? They say, well, I have this coach now and I'm working on this and I've got these mentors and all that. What makes your program different than what you think is out there and available to the public?
Well, I think I'm a realist. I'm a great listener. So we were going to tackle what it is exactly you're trying to accomplish, not what I think you should. Now, if you do want my advice on what I think about what you should do and, those type of things, I can offer that. But it's about what do you want and what are your true goals, not trying to force my opinions on you. That's the number one thing, because I think a lot of times people don't get people who they can relate to. And you can relate to me.
Again, over the last 4 years, it's been a tough journey for a lot of people with lockdowns. You're constantly watching TV. It may not be the kind of information or things you want to see. You go on the internet, it's just constant negative stuff. You go to your workplace and you try to, seek some counsel from coworkers, and they seem very negative about everything and the outlook, and there's not too many optimists out there. And then you read newspapers and periodicals, and maybe you're listening to something else on the internet or YouTube. Do you think right now that the American dream is still achievable?
I think the American dream has changed. That's the biggest thing, because before it was buy a house, get married, have 2 children, a boy and a girl, and then that's all life was. Now it's not about that. Now it's have a business. Don't be financially free, be able to do what you want to do, travel and, explore other cultures. I think the American dream has changed. And so now, because we have AI, you know what I mean? Anything you can think of or need help with trying to figure out, you can type in a question and it gives you something. Before, you didn't have the internet. You didn't have anything to help you get through life. Now, even if you don't speak to someone, you have someone you can type to. You can stay connected with people through social media. So I think the American dream has changed in the way it's not what it used to be. It's just a different dream.
So is it still achievable, you think?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And is it achievable to start a business today in the world we live in, to be successful in a business?
Yes, it is. It's achievable. You have so many great outlets out there to help you. It's just so many things that you can get, grants. It's a lot of people who are looking to invest in businesses. I was looking the other day on Instagram. I found a new person, a real estate investor, and he was saying that he buys buildings, and this is in New York. New York is expensive. And he says he just pulls his family and friends, get them to, donate, well, not donate, but invest money with him. So he doesn't go to the bank. So, you can pull your friends into an investment and build a company. You don't have to wait for banks. It's not traditionally done. So you have different outlets and different ways to do whatever you want to do in life.
So let me ask you, for the younger generation today, the Gen Y, the Gen Z, the millennial generation, and I think they're hearing stuff from both sides.
Yes.
Go to college, don't go to college. Go to college, don't go to college. I'm just curious, in your opinion, as a mother of, 2 amazing young girls, right?
Yes.
What advice would you give to that younger? Should they go to college today or not go to college? What are your thoughts?
I think it depends on your situation. Financially, we can't afford for them to go to college. They have a specific job they want to do. Like my oldest one is going to be a lawyer. So with that being said, she needs to go to college to, study and get her, go to law school and all that. So she needs college. I think if you're not going to school for business or a specific job, then, you can think about college, because putting that money into that 4 year, you can invest that money and maybe make more for yourself than giving it to an institution. So it depends on your situation. You have to really decide or look to what you plan to do in life. Mm-hmm. And then one thing about college, it's always there. It's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And you're never too old to go.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think is a great industry if somebody was to study and explore? When someone says, I don't know what I want to do, what business or industry I should get into, what advice would you give them?
I think, too, finance. Because if you think about COVID, you have to think about who suffered from COVID, job-wise. And finance, they didn't really suffer, Mm-hmm. I feel like they weren't hit like a lot of other, different jobs. And then the other thing is, to be a lawyer. Mm-hmm. You can't really, because I feel like going into law, you can always go into other things. And the world is built around law. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's different rules and regulations. So when you understand the law and you understand the laws that have been set mm-hmm. for the world, I think, or America, I think that can help you, and it opens your mind. Mm. And you can, like I said, you can be a judge. You can be on the board of, whatever company. It just propels you into other avenues of work. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes.
Tell us about your podcast.
So I do a podcast I kind of do a few. One just on basic social things, just about, stories that are heard on the news and, just to get my take on it. And then also for financial literacy. Me and my partner, Annalisa, we also have a podcast.
Okay.
And we're talking about just financial literacy. Mm-hmm. Yes.
What are some things that you think when it comes to money and finance that people should really embrace?
Really, I think you do have to have a budget. Mm-hmm. A lot of times people just want to spend frivolously, and you can't do that. In life, you definitely need a budget, and then you need to sit down with someone or you need to know what are your financial goals. That's mm-hmm. very important. Mm-hmm. So you can make plans to get there, and retirement is included in that.
Mm-hmm. And what are your thoughts about different types of industries? Like where would be a good place to invest, you think?
Probably technology would probably be a good place to invest.
Why?
Because I think technology is going to always grow. Mm-hmm. That's the world we live in. It's going to always, I think Apple and Microsoft are always moving forward, always going up. It's going to always be something new. We haven't hit the ceiling on mm-hmm. that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like technology is one of the good choices because it's going to keep evolving. Mm-hmm. And anything that's going to keep evolving, I feel like it can't do anything but go up.
It's great. It's great.
Yes.
Now, just out of curiosity, where can people get your book?
Click the link in my bio, and it'll give you all the information.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
When it comes to financial matters, traditionally, it seemed like the men were controlling the money, they were investing the money. Mm-hmm. And very frequently, I've heard women say, oh, my husband handles all that, or my boyfriend, or my dad. How important do you think it is now for more women to become more financially savvy and understand some basic principles, and why?
I think it's really, really important, because if you break up with that person, what are you going to do? You kind of are putting yourself in a position to be very vulnerable, and not in a good way. I think that some women don't want to. Some women are like, look, you take care of all of that. I'll just be here cooking, making sure the house is clean. And that's okay. Everyone has their things, but you're kind of like a sitting duck. You're putting yourself in a predicament that there is a chance where one day, or even if your spouse passes away, because, after so long, everybody's inevitable. We're all going to pass away. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do then? You need to know where everything is. It's also for knowledge. You need to know. Like I said, if they're gone one day or accident happens and they're just not here anymore, that's something that's important, because you need to know, what do I do next? Mm-hmm. How am I going to handle this? How am I going to step in his footsteps and be able to keep, us afloat? Mm-hmm. Or even the money that we have, keep it going.
Mm-hmm. And do you teach this yourself to women?
I can teach them, yes. I can help them. Because my next book is Finances, What Every Wife Should Know. Yes.
It's great.
So I do want to guide them on where to start, what to do, because a lot of times when you're starting from the bottom or from scratch, you don't know where to even turn. What's the first thing I should do? So I do want to help women just figure out, where do I start?
So right now in the world we live in, there's so many people talking about the potential for World War III, another recession, another 2008, 9, and 10 financial debacle, right? The presidential election, the potential for a civil war. I mean, there's so much noise.
Yes.
Should someone really be investing right now? What's your opinion on that?
Yes, I think so. That's why you need to have a financial advisor, someone who can guide you in where the market is right now. And real estate is always a great investment because people always will need a place to live. No single family homes, though.
No single. Why? Why would you say that?
Because with single family homes, the depreciation can happen because of what's going on in the neighborhood. That you have no say a lot of times with that. You can lose value very easily. So I would do multifamily homes just because, it's about the rental. How many people are renting your units, and that's what's determined on how much it's worth. You don't want to lose, appreciation of your home, of your rental units or whatever, whatever your investment is. You never want to have it depreciate. You want it to appreciate. And so with single family homes, it's more risky.
Interesting. That's a great tip.
Yes.
And so what else could people do to protect their investments and their money if they are investing?
I would suggest insurance policy. That's a good investment.
Okay. Why is that?
Because just of the way it's structured, it can help you in times of need. Like if you decide you want to start a business, you can get a loan from your own insurance. You're like a bank, so you can get a loan from your own investment. Then you can also, it can pay you money as you get older. You can have it set up where you collect money from it. So it's just different ways that you can structure it to benefit you. And you don't have to have a lot of the tax implications associated with it.
Okay. Because insurance policies have benefits from taxes.
It does.
What kind of benefits?
Well, it's the benefits from having an insurance policy tax-wise. You don't have to pay taxes with the money that comes out of it because it's, after taxes, the money that's put in there. So it's a nice choice or nice investment where you don't have to pay taxes on it.
That's great.
Yes.
Well, gosh, I mean, I could sit here and talk with you all day long, and I've got a million more questions for you. And I appreciate you coming in and sharing all your wonderful, wealth of knowledge, your experience, and your vision of what your goals are, to help more people, to help all the individuals out there and helping them reach their peak potential. And hopefully everyone will reach out to you and learn from you as I did today. I want to thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself.
That's great.
Yes. Click the link in the description to get more info on my upcoming book or for any financial info and a complimentary financial needs analysis.